back. Thank you so very much for choosing to stay with us. And in case you're joining us right now, welcome to Kenya's Gold, where our focus today is on horticulture, as we do every single Monday. Now, we have been receiving a lot of feedback when it comes to fruit farming, a lot of questions as well, and also just the state of horticulture right now. And to be able to cater to all your needs, we are joined by Michelle Nyagilo, Innovative Farming Agronomy Consultant. Thank you so very much for making time for us today. We are ready to take it all in and soak it all up. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Now, just to start from the very beginning, there's something a bit unusual that we're seeing right now. There's a lot of white butterflies everywhere, and we're seeing farmers asking questions. Are we safe? Will our crops be okay? What is really happening? Maybe you can tell us from your field of expertise what is going on.
Thank you very much. So first and foremost, when you see butterflies, a lot of them, actually in the early morning, you'll see everywhere you move around, you see various colors. The butterflies are just completing their natural phenomenon, which is a metamorphosis that they are completing. So they only come up in numbers if the weather was friendly for them. Like, last year we had a lot of rainfalls, which are not usual. So for an insect to complete its metamorphosis, it has to have that environment that can enable it to go into phases that can sustain the final stages. So when you see more of them, so many people are talking about are we headed for drought or something? Because generally people do know that if insects are migrating in numbers, either it's drought or it's rainfall. But there is no cause for alarm for us as agricultural experts. Because currently with the climate change editions happening, January you don't expect rains, but it's raining. You might find in April there is no rain. So that's where the climate change also has a lot of impact on the insects' ecology. Ecology is now their environment. So for the butterflies, there is no cause for alarm. It's still an open session for scientists and more researchers to do their work inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sasa kwa wale wakulima ambao walikuwa nafikiri kwamba kuna hatari, kwao watarajie kusikwe na hofu.
Yes, they should not expect any alarm because actually butterflies also play a very significant role in pollination. And initially, the previous science research was talking about the most important insects under threat with the current methods of farming, that is the chemical use. So if the butterflies now they can complete their metamorphosis, then that means there is a high chance for more pollinators being around to give the bee the backup. Because the bees are pollinating specific flowers based on how their physiology is. Okay. Then the butterfly is also a specialist on a particular flower. And these flowers are all crops. And these crops are what end up in the food chain now. Okay. Now the agricultural sector.
Great.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. And all our farmers who are concerned, now you can breathe a sigh of relief. All is well.
Exactly.
Now, let us talk about when it comes to fruit farming. Right now, we're seeing mangoes are in season, as is the norm in the year.
Yes.
However, what we're learning is the fact that we are not able to export our mangoes to the European nations because there is very low demand for the local variety that is grown in Kenya. Maybe you can tell us more so that also our farmers can understand what is expected of mangoes in the international market. Why are we not really able to export and make the most out of our mangoes, especially right now when they're in season? And what can we do better in that sector?
Okay, for matters of export of mangoes, when you talk about the local variety, that's a broad word. Because there's a local variety that is not improved, that is non-grafted. The one that even in your childhood, you knew you could go for it and just take it, is it? But now came the improved ones that were grafted to shorten the duration to maturity. The grafted mangoes from Tommy to Apple to Van Dyke. You get it? So here, the export market, the challenge that Kenya usually has is the regulations. They are very tight. And most of our small-scale farmers, they are the ones who come in numbers. Because you won't find, for instance, yourself, a small-scale farmer doing 20 acres. They don't grow mango commercially. They are just growing it as an aesthetics. You get it? But when you find now someone who is doing it commercially for the business, there are not that many. And that's why you'll find maybe Marshall is doing 20 acres of mangoes, and he can get the regulatory satisfaction for exports. But now the common small-scale farmer who has around 20 trees in his boma, 10 trees, you see, if you tell him to go and register for the certification standards for export, they are quite expensive, and that is where they become more limited.
Okay.
So the Kenyan mango goes to the export market, but not for all farmers.
Okay.
There are a specific group of farmers, now the large-scale guys.
So for the small scale, is it possible for them to come together in groups maybe?
Very good.
And then we are able to tap into the export market as well?
Very good. That's a good one. Now, for them to tap into the export market, we do what is called aggregation. You bring the farmers together, you bring in a cooperative. Once you brought a cooperative, all mango products, for instance, let's say Saba Saba Cooperative, that's an example of one of the cooperatives in Muranga that deals with bananas. They have aggregated their own chain where all small-scale banana farmers bring them in one factory. Now from here, they went even to value addition. This is a similar scenario that when you bring it into the mango industry, aggregate the small-scale farmers into cooperative, bring that value chain into one house, train them, and at the same time implement those required standards, and now you can go for the certifications for the export. Because for the export standards, let me tell you, for the small-scale farming in Kenya, it's not really a walk in the park, to be honest. Because also that's where, if you bring them into one value chain, that's where now the innovations come in on how do we do value addition, you know, for instance, for post-harvest life. Yes, we have harvested the mango, time is running out. Can we do value addition, do dry fruits? You get the point? But a single person cannot go to that sector of doing dry fruits. You get?
So,
yeah.
Hapo umeeleza kwa raha fulani, lakini kuna jinamizi linajitokeza ya pesticides.
Exactly.
Sasa kuna mtu ambaye anashindwa kati ya chemical pesticides na bio pesticides, ni gani ambazo zimefutiliwa mbali nchini? Okay,
swali nzuri sana. Because you find, for instance, when you come about pesticides in Kenya, that's one of the biggest threats, let's not just say in Kenya, in Africa, on matters of food security. Because you say pesticides are banned, but you have not really verified which class of pesticide is banned. Because pesticide is a uniform word. Now, if you break down the word pesticide, that's where you find the chemical pesticide or the biopesticide. The chemical pesticides, those are just compounds that are synthetic. When I say synthetic, I think you understand it very well. But now the biopesticide, they are derived from plant extracts, you see, living organisms, because we also have bacteria which actually are beneficial to humans. You get it? Now those fall under the biopesticide. So bio are not banned. Chemicals are the ones which are banned. But now again, they are in different groups in terms of the target, the chemical structures, those two different distinctions. You get it? So when we go to the chemical structures, like Roundup, I think you've heard about Roundup. You've heard about it?
Yes.
Now that's a chemical structure that falls under organophosphates, neonicotinoids, you get it? So the common farmer doesn't really know who is really banned from the market.
Naam, tutarejea kabisa, utupeleke moja kwa moja kuhusiana na yule mkulima atafahamu vipi kuhusiana na hilo. Lakini sasa mtazamaji, asante sana kwa kutufuatilia, anachanganua kwa undani kabisa, lakini sasa tuende katika mapumziko kidunya, tukirejea kungali kuna mengi, usibonyeze kidubwashi chako.